Well, today's the day I'm going to be changing out my linkage on my 34 EPC carburetors. I've had these carbs running on this single port motor now for, wow, 3 years, almost 4 years on and off. I know, a lot of people tell you EMPI's garbage, but I've been running Weber 34s for over 30 years, and these EMPIs, they take a little bit of coercing and work, but honestly, once you get them set up, they're just as good as the Spanish Webers. I'll put them up against them any day. So here we go. This is the new linkage. It's the CSP Bellcrank linkage. I picked this up back in April. Well, maybe back, I guess it was March actually. Picked these up back in March. See, California Import Parts had them on sale. I think they were 104 bucks, so I couldn't pass by. So we're going to put that linkage on, get rid of the over-the-top linkage. This linkage works fine. What you got to realize is what you're doing on there is you're wearing out your rod shafts. Every time you're pushing these down, these ride at an angle, there's no way to get straight movement. Pushing down at an angle wears out the shaft. So eventually you get a bunch of shaft wear and you wind up getting some play, and then you get leaks. So we're going to go ahead and put this linkage in today, and we're going to put in a different coil because the linkage is going to set up where the coil's set. So should be an interesting day. Okay, so I've got the upper linkage removed from the carburetors, and we're going to get ready to start putting in all the lower hardware. I still have to take the hardware off the tin, or off the carburetors here, and put on the linkage for the CSP. But, and I'll tell you what, I was looking down the throat of the carburetors, and that's 3,000 miles right there. It's ethanol-free gasoline, 93 octane. That's all I ever run in my Volkswagens. You can run these things on just about anything, but honestly, if you want your engine to run the way it's supposed to run ethanol-free or run premium fuel. You will not be sorry when it comes down to getting longevity and mileage out of the car. Alright, well, I've gone ahead and pulled the distributor out so I have a little bit more room to work around the backside of the fuel pump. It's a little tight in there, getting that 13mm nut off the top to get the old bracket from the other coil out. So once I get that out of the way, I can start putting in the new Bellcrank. Sometimes it's just easier to take stuff out of the engine. Okay, so at the center section of the Bellcrank in, and I have the driver's side carburetor hooked up. A little bit of clearance issue on the fuel lines. I'm gonna have to take a look at that a little bit closer and see what I can do to get that manipulate more to my liking. I don't like it. Looks like it's gonna chafe. So I'm gonna hook up the other side and then probably poke at it for a little bit, and I'll let you see what I come up with for a solution. Alright, so now we got both sides on the manifold, or both sides of the carburetors hooked up. I moved my fuel lines up into the spark plug holders that lifted them up above the linkage, and then I had to attach the springs back on, so I've got those on there. We got good movement now, nothing's binding up. Got the distributor back in, very nice. Play with that a little bit. We're gonna have to get the linkage all squared away to get it to run, I'm sure. Anytime you change out your linkage, you're gonna have to change a bunch of other things. So next thing I'm gonna have to do is get the coil in, and I've got a fancy dry cell coil. Now these coils are basically what they're selling you on some of those big sites as a dry coil, and this, with some modifications, is going to fit in the car. I'll show you how it's done. Alright, we're gonna go out back. 63 is slumbering right now. Kind of hiding from the sun, but I'm gonna show you why this coil is gonna be so awesome. You look in here, we got a dry cell coil. I just built a bracket for it and put it in. Now that's one you can buy from a well-known online performance Volkswagen shop, and they're going to charge you twice as much money. I just took all the doodads off the other one that I bought on eBay for 15 bucks. It's the same exact coil. Why spend twice the money? No reason. No reason at all. So we're going to fabricate a bracket and get it mounted up in the 68. And then the next project will be putting a Bellcrank linkage on this motor in the 63. We'll show you that one too. And maybe, just maybe, I'll pull out my GoPro on the tripod and actually do a DIY on it. We'll see how this one goes. Alright, so we got the coil made for the bracket and mounted it to the fan shroud. Now I just got to make my electrical connections on here, and we'll get this bad boy fired up. That'll probably be about the end of the project for me for the day. Well, there you have it. It runs. So, I'm going to post a link to the coil. You guys want to save yourself a couple of bucks. Take a little bit of tuning. I'll get the carbs all straightened out, but that's a cold start right there, man.